Hi, howdy, how we doing today? Welcome to a short video once again. Today I'm talking about one of the new updates in 5.7 that's pretty cool, pretty exciting. Now, if you haven't heard before, AI, right? AI in the engine, right? AI in the engine. There is your nav meshes, and not too long ago, with your nav meshes, you'd have these things called nav links that would connect the nav meshes at two different points, right? Whether it's the same nav mesh with gaps in between like this, or two different ones, you could use nav links to connect them. Originally, you had to do that manually, right? In 5.5, they introduced a new nav link generation system that would automatically generate the nav links so that you wouldn't have to manually place them everywhere, which was really cool and really exciting. Here's the thing, there was a limitation. You gave it a nav link config, right? You would configure what the rules for generating the nav links were, but you could only do one. Now, the problem with that is that generated nav link had to be the all-encompassing for the generated nav link that you were making, which it didn't necessarily make sense. Because think about this, right? Here I've got a nav link where it's like a massive fall. Yes, a AI could fall down that, but an AI could not jump up that, right? You have one config, and it had to be the defining thing for all, and it was pretty limiting, honestly. But it was still cool. It was still useful. It was still helpful and stuff like that. But in 5.7, for those who aren't aware, this new update has included allowing multiple configs. So, as opposed to the way that it was before, you can now have multiple Navlink config setups. And you can do that by going into your project settings and going into navigation mesh and going into the Navlink jump configs. It is now an array. It originally was just one variable and you would set the settings, but now it's an array and you can set up as many configs as it will allow you. So, and you can name them now. So I've got one that's full, I've got one that's jump. That's all really cool. And you can tell the difference because for me, right, I've created a fall that has a very high, it goes very high. You can fall very far. And it can only go one way. So that is this navlink here because you can see the arrow goes one way but not the other way. So that's my fall, and the one that goes two ways, that's my jump because, these are we can jump. Now I haven't properly fully set this up yet, but I just thought I'd let you know. It just came out and it's really exciting, and your project might use this kind of system or feature. So it's cool to know about how it works and all that kind of stuff. If you would actually like to know how to use it, mess with all the settings and stuff like that, I'll link a video in the description below. You can go check out, find out all the information you need to actually use it. I'm not going to go over that in this video. So yeah, check out that video. It's from 5.5, but it should be still valid because I used it in 5.6. And it's just that now you can have multiple of them generating on your nav mesh. So cool. That's exciting. Catch you later.